Hello, welcome to Business. Gradually, we are heading towards the end of the year that saw a new government take over and determined to industrialize the economy, but also a year that saw the collapse of two indigenous banks, one of the biggest stories in 2017. We earlier engaged some economists on how government effectively managed the economy, but first, their thoughts on how the Capital Bank UT collapse was handled by the central bank.
The aftershocks, I think that, and where I agree with Doc totally, is that the aftershocks have been very much minimized by the way the Bank of Ghana handled the how do you say, collapse of those two banks. It's been done in such a way, it was so smooth that the aftershocks are very minimal. There's virtually been no lack of confidence. I mean, what did happen then was people were asking, so is my bank safe, kind of thing. I personally benefited from that because I did a special publication on called How Safe Is Your Bank, and made a lot of money out of that. But anyway, the fact was that the Bank of Ghana smartly explained what the situation was. I remember I was in a studio, I was in your studio in the radio side when the Raymond Amanfo,
the former head of bank,
explained the situation concerning the other banks who were below 10% minimum capital and everything. And I think from there, when that thing went into the public domain, everybody now relaxed. And right now, there's when you talk about the general confidence in the banking sector among the banking public, it is no lower than what it was before those banks had their licenses. So I think the aftershocks have been handled very, very smoothly. And with the recapitalization coming,
we'll be doing that. So let's try and rate the BOG on the decision that they took in trying to deal with these two banks. And maybe let's say, I'll give them a gold star. Now we're on TV, so you can see a gold star, meaning that if indeed it was to contain a contagion issue, then for me it's a gold star to the Bank of Ghana and to the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. It looks like we are in sync on this one and not giving anybody a B-, which already seems some passion. Doc, I don't know how you rate this government in terms of how they've implemented those policies in the 2017 budget.
I will go. I think I will rate them positive.
Okay, positive. And he's showing for those listeners on radio, he's showing a card green with an arrow pointing up, saying that the
for the policies themselves, I will put this. However, for the implementation of the policies, I will say this because of certain financial constraints which have affected how well those policies on paper have translated onto into the economy.
Fairly good ratings for managers of the economy, but how about the people on the streets? What is the assessment of the economy this year and the expectations for the next year? Charles Aite was on the ground with our visibility board.
As you can see from the board behind me, several concerns raised by Ghanaians. They've absolutely not been, very much enthused by the performance of government in terms of the economy. The very first point that, you could see on the board is the low utility tariffs. They are calling for this one ahead of 2018. And also it's a matter of the stable power generation, which of course has been an issue in the past few months. The energy minister has even laid claim to that. And BOG to push more money into the economy. That's one particular view from a concerned Ghanaian in that very regard. And so many ones. We could have that of unemployment. Of course, we cannot have this discussion without discussing the issue of unemployment. But I do have one of such concerned Ghanaians. He's been sharing with me some of his concerns and, of course, what he expects from the economy in 2018. First of all, many thanks for being here on Joy Business with us. Many thanks. What has been your assessment of the entire economy this year around? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it ugly?
To my expectation, it has been good. A lot could have happened to improve it, but generally it's been a good year for the economy of Ghana now as it stands.
Okay, but we cannot end this discussion without getting to find out from you your key expectations from government, from the economy. What are they?
Well, coming year 2018, I want to see the prices of oil come down. I mean, generally everything is dependent on fuel now. if it goes high, it affects the layman right on the street. So if it comes down, things will lower a little bit, and people will be more convenient doing transactions and whole kind of stuff. So the prices of fuel are expected to come down so that the economy will be free. And then secondly, also interest rates, I expect them to come down.
All right, many thanks. So that was one of the concerned, citizens there expressing to us what they expect from the economy next year. But of course, other key points that have been listed on the board, right, the reduction in ministerial appointments and that of incentives for farmers. So all these kind of concerns raise the issue of the performance of governments in relation to the economy, and of course the key concerns by Ghanaians moving on to 2018. We shall be following these things closely and running them by the various ministers and sector agencies, especially in 2018 as we kick off.
So yes, there were ups and downs, and all year round we brought you the stories. Now, some of the reporters who made sure you were updated have been looking back at the 2017 business year. Here are my colleagues Charles Aite, Sheila Tamaklo, and Eben Sabute.
This year we have seen government, increase its urge to attract so many foreign investors into the country. We have been engaging closely with the GIPC, that is the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, through its chief executive, Yofi Grant, to explore, the various ways by which government is making this dream a reality. And personally, as a business journalist, I've seen it through it all. The Ghana Investment Summit, which attracted close to about 30 investors, foreign investors into the country. And all these are aimed, to increase the foreign direct investment from $2.5 billion, which is currently the situation, to in excess of $10 billion next year. So next year, 2018, we're going to be looking at how government is streamlining this very initiative, the various regulations that are going to be put in place to make sure that investors are really, really impacting positively on the economy. And we shall be engaging more with the GIPC to find out how these things work.
This year was also a very good year for the aviation sector. I mean, first of all, we saw a government name an aviation ministry solely on its own. I mean, this time it was separated from the transport ministry. So a lot of work went into this particular sector. Now, some of the highlights of this particular sector was the fact that we saw Ghana actually host the first ever African Air Show, and it was a successful one. We saw so many exhibitors come around. Now, another thing that we've been grappling with was the national carrier. And for the first time, well, we've had the minister name 3 airlines that they're looking to partner to actually create this. And finally, we also see that the sector has also had a few issues, and as we can see currently, we have just one indigenous carrier, which is Africa World Airline. But we are hoping that things will get better, and according to the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, they are working to get some 5 new airlines on board.
This year has actually been a very good year for the banking sector, I would think so, because we have a government who thinks the sector needs to be strengthened. And I mean, with the move, the rate at which the Bank of Ghana moved in to close down 2 banks, that is Capital Bank and UT Bank, I mean, you could see that they really want to protect depositors' fund. And for me, I think it's a good move, even though it hasn't been, I mean, well, shareholders of these 2 banks couldn't receive the news with the kind of excitement that it deserves. But for me, I mean, as an industry watcher or as a journalist, as a business journalist, I think it was a prudent move.
And that's it for business. Happy New Year from me and the team.